Hey, good morning, everyone. My name is Bill Qian, and I'm going to share with you a topic of how digital asset is reforming our finance industry. And before I kick off, let me do a very quick intro. So I moved to Dubai 4 years ago, and prior, I worked for CZ, the richest guy in crypto industry, and helped him to manage the Binance 20 billion global assets, etc. And after that, I joined the Phoenix as the chief investment officer, and together we brought the company to the IPO in Abu Dhabi, and we become the first ever crypto public company in the MENA region. And right now, I'm managing the Cypher Capital as a co-founder, and also I have my own podcast, which has become the most influential tech podcast in the MENA region and Asia, focused on the AI, crypto, technology, and humanity. And feel free to grab your phone and to subscribe my YouTube channel and stay tuned. Okay, so let's go to the topic. So we just finished a topic regarding a very serious segregation between different countries, sovereignty, tech, defense, etc. But let's talk about the digital asset, which is a borderless industry, a pretty permissionless technology in the very beginning. How many people here own Bitcoin? Can you raise a hand? Okay, I guess a couple. And how many people use or own any stablecoin like USDT, USDC? Less. Thank you. Yeah, I guess maybe that's because our nature is very institutional here. And let's take one step back and to look at what does the digital asset has shaped the global economy. How much wealth we have on Earth? The rough number is 900 trillion. So in 900 trillion, there are 300 trillion real estate, which is one of the oldest asset class, and then 300 trillion bonds. And on top of that, we have 100 trillion equity and around 120 trillion money. But in past 15 years, digital asset start as a very humble coding from Satoshi, who is the anonymous founder of Bitcoin. And now collectively, the digital asset has contributed around 4 trillion globally. And among the 4 trillion, there are 2 trillion Bitcoin, AKA the digital gold, and 2 trillion the others. Let's get into the deeper of the pillars of all the 4 trillion. So pretty much, 4 trillion, we have the Bitcoin. And Bitcoin, by definition, it is the permissionless digital gold, which is the first ever digital money on the blockchain, which we call blockchain also as the global open computer network. And on the other hand, Bitcoin is also one of the most capital efficient project, with one founder created 2 trillion market cap in past 15 years. And now it is the global 8th largest asset class, even larger than the Aramco. I think today Aramco is around 10 or 11, who is the backbone of the global economy. And apart from the Bitcoin, we also have the stablecoin. Stablecoin basically is a fiat alternative, which you can use on the blockchain, and you can send and receive anytime from point to point globally without any friction. So in past 15 years, the stablecoin has already grown very dramatically. Together, stablecoin, there's a circulation around 300 billion. And stablecoin, company has become the top 20 US Treasury holder already. And the last year alone, surprisingly, if we see the right chart, stablecoin, the transaction volume has been larger than the sum up of Visa and MasterCard. But the comparison is, in this room, not many people use stablecoin. The reason because, all of us, we are banked population. We're institutional investor. We don't bother to use a stablecoin. But don't neglect, there are hundreds of millions of people globally who are suffering, about their inflation of their own fiat, who are suffering of their global cross-border transaction, etc. And that is why, the innovation always happen in the frontier region, and then gradually get into the massive adoption. And that is why we see stablecoin, the transaction volume is 27 trillion even larger than Visa and MasterCard. But in this room, very minority of us were using, because they start innovation by the unbanking population. The third pillar is how the Bitcoin and stablecoin run, which is the infrastructure. Think about the Ethereum or Solana as a global, open, public computer. So be aware of my definition. Global, public, open. AWS is global, but it's not open. It's not permissionless. It's not public. You have to get a permit. But on Ethereum and Solana, basically, it is a world computer. It's global, it's open, and it's public. And you can run any program, you can send and receive any currency on this infrastructure. So basically, the traditional counterparty of Ethereum and Solana, imagine this is a decentralized Azure or decentralized AWS. So right now, as compared to the 200 trillion asset in bank, the whole global blockchain infrastructure is building the significant asset already, which is 150 billion. And compared to NASDAQ, in past 30 days, the transaction volume is 180 billion. But DeFi, the decentralized finance, the decentralized exchange, the decentralized money remittance happening on Ethereum and Solana in past 30 days, the daily average is 60 billion. And I do have a very, very strong conviction, this number is gonna surpass NASDAQ in next 36 months. And don't forget, apart from this, the firm I worked before as the global head of M&A, Binance last year, as a centralized exchange, it's already achieved 100 trillion volume, way bigger than NASDAQ. So basically, this is going to be an internet capital market, internet finance market, a global open finance regime next 5 years. So if we take one step back to look at the 900 trillion story, among the 900 trillion, there's only 4 trillion digital asset. But what is going to happen in the next few years? It's going to tokenize and cryptonize equity. It's going to tokenize real estate. It's going to tokenize bond. And also it will fully penetrate to the money. Basically, every single asset class will bring to the blockchain, AKA the global open public computer system, to build up a 24/7 borderless global finance system. And what is just due to the interest of the time, what is the call action for me today to everyone here? If you are an individual investor, just ask GPT, this is my KYC, which jurisdiction you are at, and how I can, own up to 5% of the Bitcoin. Basically, it is like, own a piece of the land if you are immigrants back to 1600. Because, owning a piece of land in the US is going to compound you in next 300 years. And my call of action to every institution here, imagine, if you miss the asset class of the private equity or hedge fund, in past decades, and then your institution will miss this mega trend. This mega trend, it is a strong demand from your customer, but also it's a revenue growth for your business. So every institutional investor here, I do strongly recommend you guys to open the new product line and to look at this new asset class as your new driver of the revenue in future. Okay, thank you.